Why are Sega CD cases some of my favorite game cases in all of gaming history? Let's talk about it. When the Sega CD arrived on the scene, the first thing that stood out, well, obviously, were the live-action cutscenes now within the games. But the next thing that stood out was the size of the game cases. We would get cases similar in size later on down the road with the Sega Saturn. We even got large form cases with the PlayStation 1 originally. Using this larger format for the cases allowed the games to stand out on the shelf. We had vibrant, colorful artwork, large, easy to read print, and honestly, you put these side by side with what was out at the time, it really did stand out and caught your eye. That iconic blue color that was associated with Sega caught your eye immediately with some of your favorite titles that you knew on the Genesis, now upgraded and enhanced for the Sega CD, including cutscenes. Within the game case, the instruction manual even followed suit, where we got a large, tall manual, again with colorful artwork on both the front and back, and within it plenty of pages to provide additional information not only on how to play the game, but additional story to enhance the experience. In this example, Mortal Kombat on the Sega CD, which by the way is one of my favorite ports of that game, includes character bios and move lists along with hand-drawn animated artwork of each character. These cases were made of the same plastic as you would find really with any jewel case, it was just they were enlarged. With that said, just like a jewel case, they can be a bit fragile, and to be quite honest, my one pet peeve about these cases is that they are easily broken. When the PlayStation 1 had their large format cases, they weren't made of plastic, they were actually cardboard boxes that would unfold. So even though those could also be damaged fairly easily, being made of the thicker cardboard made them a bit more durable in my opinion. That said, the clear plastic showing the artwork through it from the instruction manual is one of the things that gave these cases some charm, in my opinion. And it's one of my favorite things because it was like owning a CD collection, except it stood out because it's so much bigger. It was like, boom, here it is. You are the owner of a Sega CD, and here are the crazy cool games that are gonna come along with it. This was at the peak of the console war, and when Sega was battling Nintendo, everything on Sega's side was about being bigger, badder, and more aggressive, and that certainly did not take a back seat when it came to the game cases. Now, the other thing that I love about these cases are how they look displayed on the shelf, but I do have to look at it from other points of view as well. Because of the size of these cases, displaying them on shelves along with the rest of your game collection can be a little tricky. The oversized cases make it difficult for finding a location to store them, and store them nicely so that if you do want them easily accessible or on display, you really have to plan ahead for it. But even with that said, when you have it set up the way you like, I absolutely love how these games display. There was just something about it that really stood out to me even when I was a kid, and it still does to this day. I don't know if any other game cases will ever beat this. At this point, everything goes inside of a Blu-ray case, which are pretty standard and yes, fit uniformly on any bookshelf. But I'll always come back to these Sega CD cases, and before I even pop the game in to play it, I love looking at all sides of the case, checking out the artwork, reading the stories inside, and remembering the nostalgic moments from my childhood. What are your thoughts on the Sega CD cases, or really any other cases of these same size? Talk about Sega Saturn or even the PS1. Let me know down in the comments, and what were your favorite video game cases of all time? I want to hear from you down in the comments as well, and until next time everybody, remember, keep retro gaming alive, because one day your games will be retro too.